Hi guys, Flames here. Just wanted to throw this in at the beginning of the video real quick. If you notice here, I have assembled a triangle thruster, which many people have asked me about, and so I'm going to show you how the triangle thruster works. If you look at the triangle thruster and we kind of select it, that'll be fine. I'll hit it with the move tool. So if you look at the... Oh, I ended up selecting more than I bargained for. Give me just a second here. So let's just grab that. There we go. So if you have a look at the hard point down here, it still uses a regular device hard point. The only difference is that this one has a little bit of an angle cut out of it. So what I recommend if you're having issues with the device hard point is when you're piping and wiring to put it in, make sure that it's in, in the triangle here. So I would say in this pipe, and this pipe, depending on where you place it. So that way it lines up perfectly. You pipe it up, and then when you go and get into the test flight seat, come on, there we go, and you start taking off. All right, and you look, as you can see, the thruster back there is not on because I didn't bolt it. Lamau. Make sure all your parts are bolted. If they're not bolted, it won't count. So make sure that you bolt it down. But now that it's bolted down and we won't leave it behind this time, let's go ahead and hop on in. So you can see we took off a lot faster, we're moving a whole lot quicker. And as you can see back there, that triangle thruster is running. So make sure that you have it piped up correctly, wired up correctly, and the ship will operate just fine. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Hey guys, just a quick note before we get started. This is a very long video, as you can tell, and it's a very drawn out tutorial because I wanted to make sure that you guys could understand everything pretty clearly. When I was building this, I also ran into several issues. I left some of those issues in without cutting them out due to the fact that I wanted you guys to see kind of how I troubleshoot things if they're not working, so that way I can get them to work properly. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoy it, and without further ado, let's get started.
Life is too hard, but I'm still out here boasting. I'm focused, I block out commotion. All of y'all salty like you drunk the ocean. To enemies, your only devotion. Watching this shit, they your favorite. And like it to know more about y'all emotions. Use it.
What is up, my fellow Endos? Flames you here, and I am back with another Starbase tutorial for you guys. This time we're going over the ship designer and how it works, and making a little basic ship, as well as how to cover some additional things such as triangle thrusters and the sort. So to start editing or creating your own ship, you come to the ship designer. On the top it'll say you want a unique ship, design your own. It's right next to the easy build hall. Come over here and click Start Editing Private. This will bring you into a big blue square or rectangle. You can't put anything outside the rectangle. Your entire build is confined to inside the rectangle. Keep that in mind. You move around with W, A, S, and D, and you change your direction with holding the right mouse button, and you can change the direction that you're traveling using each of those keys. So when you're building your ship, this is just an indication that this is the center of the rectangled cube area here. This does not indicate center of mass. You have a visualization tool right up here where you can click center of mass, and you can also show center of thrust. We'll take a look at that later. So when you're building your ship frame is made out of beams. For a small ship, we can use the straight beams as a starter. You've got angled beams, corner beams, intersection beams, special beams, which are specially angled and symmetrical, stuff like that, and straight beams being the most common. For building the frame, we have these options for our straight beams here. Of course, we're not going to go and build with this with this little tiny thing, you know, and make a big frame out of these little ones. If you're building a bigger ship, you can use the beam straight 384 centimeters. You use a combination of all the beams just to make up for what you're missing. So for this example, I'm going to use the 192 centimeter beams, so that way we aren't making a very, very large ship. So if you're looking at the beams here, you can use your scroll wheel to zoom them in and out like so. You can hold the Z key to rotate on the Z axis. You can hold the Y key to rotate on the Y axis, and you can hold the X key to rotate on the X axis. You can also just place it, click the rotation tool, and rotate it on those same axes using this tool. It's up to you, however you're more comfortable doing it. If you want to get rid of something that you've placed down completely, you just hit the delete key and it's gone. So we're going to put down some straight beams. So we're going to put a beam here, and we're going to put another one. We're just going to kind of keep them going. The snapping can be a little finicky when you're first working with it, but you will eventually adapt to how it works. You can hold shift and it'll copy what you put, and then you can drag it, and whatever direction you drag it in is the direction it will move in. All right, so we're gonna select this, and we're gonna copy out a few more. So again, I'm holding shift and dragging it in the direction till it snaps into place like that. Now, for a beam to be welded, it has to be touching at least two other beams. So we are going to take this beam here, we're going to rotate it on the Y axis, so that way it will match up here, and we're going to put it like so. Come on, snap properly for me, please. If you're gonna do this, by the way, it's very important that you have a lot of patience, because if you do not, you'll wear yourself out very quickly. So let's see, we'll do a 3 wide. There we go. And so now what we can do, we obviously want to match them up along the sides, but we don't want to go and place every individual beam. So you can take your selection tool, your move tool. If you hold the shift key and click the individual parts, you can highlight them like so, and then you just hold shift again, and now you've copied more than one like that. And we just keep holding shift, and we'll drag it until it snaps at the center of each of the, you can see the little white lines from where the beams connect there, and I kind of just like to line them up like that, and we're going to drag them like so, and then this one on the edge. Then, whoa, you can also resize your toolbar. I didn't mean to do that. But now, so we've got that, right? Then we want to go ahead and select this. And we want to shift drag to the other side. And there we have that. So now we've got the beam set up, and we made it nice and simple without having to place a bunch of different beams. So let's pull out another beam and let's stand it up. So we've got it stood up, right? And we're gonna snap it to the corner like that. Come on. And then we'll make it too high. So now what we can do is hold the shift key, click, and we'll make multiple selections like that. Hold shift, drag, and drop. Drag, and drop. And you don't have to make exactly the design that I'm making. And again, the beams and stuff that you'll be using will be different depending on the style. You know, don't let what I'm doing here muddle your creativity or anything like that. You know, so we're gonna do it just like that, right? And we're gonna leave some extra space for the seat of the ship, right? And so to do that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take another straight beam, and we can take them like this, and we'll go here, one here, and we'll put one here, and then we can rotate it. Beam's got to be touching at least two other beams. Don't forget that part. Very important. Alright, so then what we'll do is we'll hold shift, and we're gonna get our move tool here. This looks like it needs to be moved over a little bit. Oh, I'm holding shift. So Control Z to undo stuff you did not mean to do. So we're gonna drag this over just a little bit. Oh, I was holding shift again, look at that. Hit the delete key to get rid of what we don't want. So we got that kind of right there in the middle. And then we'll take another beam. I don't know if this will fit exactly in the middle, will it? It will. We're gonna set it like that. And again, how you design it is totally up to you. I'm just doing it like this for simplicity's sake. So now we're going to take this and we're gonna rotate it like so. And we're going to place these on top. So then I'm going to, you can also, when you have the, like, so you've got the beam out, right? You've got a piece selected. You want to put it away, just right click and it'll go away. So we're going to drag these beams over. Just like so. All right, and then we're going to select more than one of the beams. Not that one. So we're gonna click, 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 click. And we're just gonna select those beams. And then we're going to shift, drag, put them in the same place, like so. And then maybe these are, all right, and then we've got them like that. And then we've got to fill in the center here. So we're gonna take a 72 centimeter beam. That looks about the right size. It may be a little too big still. We'll see. Yeah, okay, so let's go with the 48. Alright, and it looks like, come on, you can do it. You can do it. And sometimes changing the way that you're looking at it helps too, when you're trying to get it to snap. There we go. Alright, so we got it there. And then we're just going to shift, drag it over, put it in the same spot, drag, same spot, drag, same spot. We'll select this one, drag it backwards, drag it backwards. All right, and there we've kind of got like the little starting of a ship here. So then I'm gonna take one of these. Let me see if I can. This may be a little too tall. Ah, it's not. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna put one here, and I'll put one here, just like that. All right, this is like, in terms of design, just kind of like trying to make sure that we have, you know, foundation. Physics does actually exist in this game, so, you know, just keep dragging them over, drag, and boom. All right, so we've got those kind of put up like this, and you can, again, you can play around with different designs and stuff like that. It'll be different for everybody, especially depending on the kind of ship that you're trying to build. This is just to kind of show the different things that you can do. So now we've got this, right? So now we need the welder tool. All the orange beams indicate that it's not welded. You click one and it welds it up. However, it would be a pain, you know, to go over here and click it or to select them all and do it. So you can just hit apply to all, click, and boom, they're all welded together. Now that they're all welded together, you've kind of got like this little outline of a frame here. So what we can do now is start focusing on some thrusters. So we want some basic thrusters. For thrusters, you need device hardpoints. Always be thinking device hardpoints. So we're going to go to hardpoints. We're going to go to device hardpoint, and we're going to pull that up. Now you'll notice that the device hardpoint has these sockets on the back of them. Those are important. We'll get to those a little bit later. But that is for piping and wiring, which we will get to very shortly. So we're going to place this, and I'm going to fix its orientation because it got all messed up. In fact, I'll just place a new one. So place, and then we're going to rotate. Now, you want the sockets to be facing the inside of the ship, not the outside. So that way your pipes don't have to be on the outside. So if you take any kind of damage whatsoever, there's less of a chance that it's going to damage your piping and your pipe work. So we're going to put the device hardpoint right there, like so, on the edge. Okay, and then it's very important that it's bolted up, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. But first, we're gonna drag this over here, and I'm just copying it up, and then I'm gonna rotate it a full 360, and then move it back into place so it's right on the edge. So that way, it's on the exterior of the ship. And we're gonna need some more device hardpoints. Now, if it helps you to visualize, you can place to make things more secure, which will increase your warp rating, which I will show you also. I will show you that shortly as well. You're gonna want to have it as secure as possible, right? So let's see, this beam here isn't gonna fit in. Let's plot a 96 and see what we can do about this. So we want that to snap to the corner of the of this. And again, sometimes changing your angle works really well. There we go. Now we've got that. And then you can see clearly that it's not going to fit another one of those. So we drop down in size and see if one of those will fit. And you just keep going down in size until it fits. Eventually, you'll just know what's what, and you won't need to worry about it. So that's going to be a 48. And even that's a little too small. So what you can do, if you run into an issue like this just happens to be because of the way that I designed the ship. Unfortunately, I didn't do it very smart. So we're going to place them like this. Come on, we want to snap on the edge. Alright, we're going to place it like that. That's going to put it right there on the edge, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift drag. And then I'm going to select more of it, shift drag, right? And then select more of that. We're going to drag it on over like so. So now you can see it's kind of coming along here, and it's looking like a box because it's a box. I'm going to take this and rotate its axes like so. Put that there. and then see if we can fit the 192 between that, and if it'll snap perfect. If it does, awesome. If it doesn't, we're gonna have to fix that. So we're gonna try to, come on. There we go. So now we've got that. So we're gonna need our weld tool again. All right, we've got apply to all selected, and we're gonna click and we're gonna weld it up, and that takes care of that. So now we've got that. The reason that we're doing that is so that way there's more places for the device hardpoints to be bolted onto. So we're gonna take another device hardpoint, and we're gonna put, we're gonna put one up top here. We kind of want it to fit right in the corner. Right? That's still not quite on the edge, so we're gonna take our move tool and we're gonna move it until it's there. Perfect. And then again, just copy, bring it on over, and then rotate it around and slide it on back in there. You want to make sure that it's snapped into the corner right. So this one is not, so we're going to drag it over this way some, and there we go. All right, so we've got those in the corners there. We're going to need to bring another one up here, and we're going to rotate it downward so it's facing down. It's very important that these hard points, like I said, are facing outwards, because if they are not, then you won't have anything to attach them to. The piping and the sockets need to be inside, and you'll see why later. It just makes things, it'll make your life a whole lot easier if you do it like that. So we're gonna, okay, that should be fine. All right. Oh, I keep grabbing the toolbar. So then we can, drag this over here as well. All right, and then we've got those. And now we want to make sure that these are in line with the ones that they're near. Because if you don't do that, then you're going to end up with asymmetrical movement, and that is never good. So we're gonna put one there, and then we're going to put one I'll have to manually move this here. There we go. Bring it up to the top. Alright, so we've got these top device hardpoints. We're going to bring another one around, and then we're going to rotate it. Straight up and down. Drop it down, move it in. And so we want to make sure again that it's lined up with the hard point on the top. And it is. Alright, and then shift drag. Bring that one straight down. Shift drag. We can place this like so. Rotate it around. And then you can kind of get a level check by coming down a little bit. Making sure that it's level. That looks pretty good. Anyways, then we will drag another one straight up, and then that's, you make sure that it's in line with the one above it. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, okay, it is. All right, so we've placed the device hard points all around the edge of the ship. We also need ones on the bottom, so we're going to place some on the bottom here. Take that, rotate it this way. So now we need these so that way for a ship this small, we're using these. We're gonna be using maneuver thrusters. On a much larger ship, you may not want to use maneuver thrusters. Well, at least they're not very efficient if you do. But they'll work just fine for what we're doing here. Right. On a larger ship, they're just not super efficient, but I will show you what you can do if you're building a larger ship. Alright, and then we're gonna need, since we have that stuff there, we're going to need to have a beam. For the in between here. If I get it just right, come on. Will a 24 centimeter beam fix that? Sure will. Alright, so then we're going to shift click and then shift drag over to the corner. Alright, bring our welding tool back out. Gonna weld everything up. Alright. Now we've got the forms of like a ship where you can put your cargo crates and stuff like that. So we're not going to do that for this. You can place your own cargo crates and design them how you want to. We're just going to work on making a ship that is functional. So now what we're going to do, that we've placed all of these down, is we're going to place the thrusters. So the thrusters are going to be under machinery, thrusters, and then you can choose the tier that you want. So you can go all the way up to tier 3. For this example, we're going to use tier 1. So we'll bring out a tier 1 body. You're going to need a tier 1 nozzle, which will snap right into place just like that. And then you're going to need a the combustion chamber that goes inside of it. So the box thruster combustion chamber, and that goes in on the reverse side. Kind of bring it in here, snap it into place, right? And then you're also going to need your converters. So you're going to need the tier 1 electricity converter, which is the blue and it's color coded. You put the blue one in there, and then you'll need the thruster propellant converter tier 1, and it'll go in there as well. And then what you can do after that is you select the whole engine block, and then we can kind of move it to the hard point. And we'll get it to snap right onto the hard point. Make sure that it's on there correctly. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna just kind of, there we go. Now it's on inside the hard point and is properly placed. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to copy this and bring it to the other side. Make sure that that's properly placed on the hard point. Does not look like it is, so I'm going to check. So there's the hard point. Alright, and you can kind of line it up just like this and make sure that it works appropriately, and boom, it'll snap it right in. So now that's snapped into place perfectly. So we've got the 2 thrusters right there just like that, and then we can drag one down, and then we'll go make sure that it's snapped into place. You can see that there's the almost looks like a reticle, and right here where it shows you that it's in line with what it's attached to. So that is connected as well, and then we'll drag those over like so. Make sure that it's definitely not. So we're gonna drag it until it is snapped right into place there. All right, so we've got 4 tier 1 engines. Now periodically you can check your building budget. Actually, you can check it anytime you want. If you look at the building budget, you will see here that you have a set amount of bolts that you can use. You have a set amount of cable, pipes, and ducts. And what a duct is I will show you that a little bit later. You've got a certain amount of lamps and lights. You can only have 1 transponders, 20 warheads, 120 weaponry. Main flight computers 5. You can have 15,000 objects. The voxel volume is extraordinarily large, and the max cargo volume allowed for the ship, and then decal coverage, which is like your special plates and your painting and stuff like that. You get 600 for that. So you check your build budget, and it'll tell you the cost of the ship that you're building, as well as the funds required to create it. Then you have the material cost. If you pull that up, it shows you how much it costs to create it, plus the ore needed to create the ship as well. So you can see it already. Parts that you already have, like beams and stuff like that. So I have some straight beams and stuff. I have 11 in storage, but it uses 92. So like it'll use all of that too, and that'll also reduce your cost. So that's how you check all of that. So we've got the 4 thrusters put on. So now the next thing that we are going to need for the ship is going to be power. So for power, to power those thrusters, we're going to use the generators. So we'll go under power, generator, fuel chamber, tier 1. All right, this is what we're going to use here. And I'm going to rotate it like so, right? So there's the tier 1 fuel generator. You can throw 2 on there if you like, get some extra fuel out of there. Then you'll need the generator unit, tier 1. So we are going to place 4 of those for this, like so. Oh, that didn't work. Alright, so we're gonna have to move this one down into place. Alright, so now we've got them all connected up like this, right? And then we are going to highlight them. We're gonna just do this. Alright, and we're going to drag them into place on the ship, like so. So now that we've got them in place on the ship, we got to do something very important. Everything requires some bolts. So what you could do, for bigger ships, you won't want to do this. You'll want to do it segments at a time, but you highlight it and then click the auto bolt tool down here in the corner, or hotkey 9, and you click and it'll bolt everything up, and it'll make an error sound when everything appears that it's not bolted properly. So everything is bolted up, it bolted everything down, and then you can check your durability by clicking this. Now it says no ship frame. That is because, oops, part likely to fail when a collision occurs near it, right? So we need to connect those parts through other means. Okay, so you will notice with the durability tool it says no ship frame. That is because it's not recognized as a ship, because the hard points aren't properly bolted on to the entire ship. So we are going to first bolt the hard points on, and now you'll notice that the ship has turned green, right? And we're gonna do the same thing here. And we're going to do the same thing here. So all these hard points. And now you'll notice that the engine's thrusters have changed. You'll also notice though that here it's structurally not there's no structural integrity. This is usually fixed by adding more bolts, or making sure that the engine is bolted better to the frame. So you see how I've added the bolts to the frame there. And then we can just add some more bolts like this. And now that's turning green. Add some more bolts like this. And we just want to make sure that it's firmly bolted in. So now when we open our durability tool, you'll see that this ship has a warp class of 1.62. As long as that number stays above 1, the ship will fly and it will not fall apart. Now you'll notice these little squares here, or cubes, right? And those indicate an issue. So if I click this, it'll say warning. Part has one of the lowest valid travel mass durabilities in the ship. So you go and find the area where the issue is occurring. And you can see here that it just needs some more bolting to the hard points. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some more bolts, right? And then we're going to bolt the hard point down a little more. It'll tell you what all the problems are, and then you come back to this and it'll tell you if there's a problem. So now there is no longer a problem on that particular part. As you can see now, the cube has disappeared. So now we've got another cube, right? So it's saying that this has low mass, right? Or integrity. So we'll add a bolt here and a bolt here, add a bolt here, add a bolt here, pull out the durability tool, and it will continue to reflect the issues until you fix them. If you want your ship super secure, best way is to always just add more bolts. But remember, you are limited in the bolts that you can use. So make sure that you keep that in mind when using this. So now you can see that that is okay. So I click it, it disappears. And then it's going to show me where I'm having more issues. And that issues is going to be the hard point. So we're going to add the other bolt to the hard point like so, and then give it a few more bolts there. You don't have to use that many, and you may end up finding a better way around it. That's totally okay. Now you can see that problem's gone away, and then now we have this problem. So not enough bolts here. Now this is just dependent upon how sturdy you really want your ship. Like I said before, if the ship has a warp class of 1 or of greater than 1, the ship will fly. But I just wanted to show you, in case you guys come into this, that is how you fix those integrity issues. The ship, for all intents and purposes, can still fly as it sits right now. So now what we want to do is we want to make sure that we get everything checked out. So we did the durability check. Durability check's good. Everything's good. It's recognized as a ship frame. All right. We added the fuel rods and the generators. So the next thing that we're going to need to operate the ship is some propellant. Now, with the propellant, you are going to need the propellant tanks and the racks. So under power, I've got to figure out where the propellant is. I must have totally forgotten. Here we go. So the large propellant tank and the medium propellant tank, the large propellant tank, and the small propellant tank vary drastically. I believe the small hydrogen propellant tank has 1 million, holds 1 million units of propellant. The medium hydrogen propellant tank holds 4 million units of propellant, and the large hydrogen propellant tank holds 9 million units of propellant. So it's a very drastic change depending on the ones that you use, but for this we're just going to use a couple of the small hydrogen propellant tanks like so. We're just going to put a couple of them here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the small propellant tank mounts and we're going to snap them on like so, just just like that. And then we are going to put them on the other side. Oh, wrong rotation. All right, like so. And like so. And then what we'll do is get our select tool, select all of that, hit the auto bolter. Oops, that's not the auto bolter, this is the auto bolter. And now it's all bolted up. All right, and then we're gonna put the propellant tanks like this. Oh, I did not mean to do that. So we'll make sure that you select the whole thing when moving them. Otherwise, you'll end up leaving parts behind. So we'll put it in just like this. This will be fine. And then, just for the sake of demonstration, you can end up having better support structure, things like that. I'm just trying to show you guys how it basically works. Like so. All right. So now we've got the propellant tanks lined up. We're going to, make our selection and then hit the auto bolt tool. So everything's bolted. Now you can see that this doesn't have good enough integrity bolted as it is. So we're going to fix that by taking the bolt tool, and we're just going to make sure that we can get it turning. There we go. There we go. Another one like that. And we're just adding these bolts here to make it secure so we don't see any red. We definitely don't want to see red. Right? So we got the propellant tanks, and the propellant tanks are lined up on there. Now, the next thing that we're gonna need for the stuff is also the fuel rods. We have to have the fuel rods, so that's gonna be under power, and where's the fuel rod? Here we go. Tier 1 generator fuel rod. All right, and we're gonna pop one in like so. These do not need to be bolted. All right, so we've got the fuel rods in there. Now we also need a couple other things. We need a generator socket board, which we will put on the side here. And we will need a generator pipe board. And the reason is, now you don't necessarily need the pipe board. You can use the cooling cells and the coolant rack to cool the module, but those do need to be replaced, whereas using a radiator does not. So we will end up using a radiator for this. So we're going to take the generator pipe socket, right? We're gonna stick it on there, make sure it's actually on there. Get our auto bolt tool, select, auto bolt again just to make sure. There we go. All right, so we got that bolted on there. All right, and this is where we're gonna need the pipes and stuff, and I'm going to show you why we need all of that very shortly, because it's got to power the thrusters for it to work. So the next thing that we need basically are going to be the maneuver thrusters. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to go ahead and take care of bolting these in. Like so. Bolt. Bolt. As long as it's green, you know, we're good. All right, so we've got those. We're just gonna keep going around, make sure that all of the hard points are securely fastened to the frame. Now, when you use the durability tool, you can see the warp class is still 1.62. As you fix the issues present by adding more bolts or doing whatever it is that this thing wants you to do, it will increase the warp class. So if it wants you to add more bolts, like say it wants us to add 3, right? We'll just add 3 to this one. All right, and then we open the durability tool back up. See that problem was solved. And now all we have to do, oops, there's actually still a problem here. It's pointing, it looks like. There we go, that fixed it. All right, and then so it's gonna show us this. It's gonna fix it. I messed it all kinds up now. I don't know how I did it, but I totally did. There we go. So we got it fixed. All right. Durability tool. Click off of it. And so it'll continue to show you that now the class is 1.09, which we need to keep up above 1. It's still above 1, so it'll still be fine. But we're going to go ahead and see what it suggests and just add another bolt there. We'll add another bolt here, bolt here, bolt here. All right, and now it's good. And as you can see, we're still at 1.09. This wants us to add some more bolting, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So it literally, once you get used to it, it literally gives you all the information you need. And when there's a problem, it tells you exactly what's wrong. So I still have to put another bolt from the bottom. So that's going to be, you know, boom, boom. And then we're going to come back to the durability tool, unclick that, and there we go. So now that that's been fixed, you know, we still got these durability issues here and things like that, but as you fix those, the warp class will go up, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Okay guys, and we are back. Sorry about that, my dog decided to jump on my lap and I had to take care of something. Anyways, so we've still got a warp class of 1.09, which means that the ship will still fly. So now that we've got all the hard points bolted down, we're going to throw on the maneuver thrusters. Oh, I missed some hard points. Hold on a moment while I bolt those in. Okay, so now we've bolted in most of the thrusters and most of the hard points, and you can be really sneaky too. You can get like down here and you can throw bolts in on the sides of the beams and they still count. They won't work and they'll fly right off if they're not attached to the frame of the ship. So just keep that in mind when you're building. Always make sure to, periodically check your building budget. As you can see, when it comes to bolts, we're nowhere near close. You could always use more bolts. So now, before we start the piping and the wiring, we're going to put something else up on the ship. And that's going to be the radiator. So we're going to grab the radiator base. Alright, and the radiator base, as you can see here, has a hard point on it, which means we need a device hard point for it. So we're going to place that there. We're going to go down to our hard points. We're going to get our device hard point. Alright, and we're going to put this one, we're going to put it right next to, it's got to be accessible. So we're going to put this right here. And then we're going to take our bolt tool. And we're going to bolt it to the frame. Like that. And you can find other creative places to put it. But so now we're going to take this radiator base. We're going to bring it over to us. We are going to rotate it on the red axis like so. We're going to move it right up onto the device hard point. It should snap right up. If it doesn't, you can just kind of take a look at it, line it up till it does. Yeah, hit your auto bolt tool and it'll bolt it all up. Now it's all good to go. Now you have radiator extensions. So you find the radiator extension, you pull it out, and you'll notice that there's an orange side and there's a gray side. You always want to make sure that the orange side is connected to the gray side. So like we're going to connect right here, we're going to connect orange to gray, right? Orange. And then and then we can flip it on the other side. Like so. And then this one I'm gonna have to fix because I put it on there wrong. There we go. So you want the orange, and then it comes down, and then when you add another radiator extension, you pull this up, right? It's gonna be orange to gray again. So we move it up in there, and then we can shift drag, right? But we don't want it to stay like that. We're gonna rotate it that way it snaps appropriately and looks appropriate as well. No, too much. There we go. Alright, so now we have that. Make our selection. Handy dandy auto bolt tool. All good to go. Right? Alright, and that is to replace having to use the coolant charge. So you've got the generator cooling rack. And then inside the generator cooling rack, you've got the coolant recharge pack. No, that's not the right one. I'm sorry. Where's it at? Ah, small cooling cell. There it is. And so you take these small cooling cells, and they go inside the radiator, or the cooling. They go inside the cooling cell, and then yeah, and then they cool it up that way, but they have to be refilled or recharged, and I just kind of find that a little redundant when you don't need that, and you can just use the radiator for the generator cooling. So we've got the radiator hooked up, we've got all the sockets hooked up, we've got the fuel rods put in, everything's connected like it should be. Now we need to put the maneuver thrusters on. So we're gonna go to thrusters, and we're gonna use the tier 1 maneuver thrusters, right? And then boom, boom, boom. And it's very important that you keep in mind that you do not you don't want your thrusters in the rear, your main thrusters, at any point to be in contact with your adjusting thrusters. Because if they are, what's going to happen is that you are going to burn those parts, and you're going to have ship damage. We don't want ship damage. At least not on our ship. We want to damage other people's ships. That sounds pretty fun. Alright. It's good. We'll go on the bottom, and then what we'll do is we're going to rotate it again. We'll put that down, that down. That down. Oh, was I missing a device hard point? It looks like I didn't realize I was. Glad that I caught that. See, it's always good to, step back, take a look, make sure that you're not missing anything, because if you are and you find out too late, it's gonna really suck, especially if you already go in and you build it in the first place. So we're gonna stick that on there. All right, there we go. And then we're going to make our selection, make our whole selection. There we go. Now, with much bigger ships, that auto bolt process will take a much longer time. So, make sure you do like certain selected areas on much bigger ships. So now we've got the adjusters placed. Now we need to be able to control all of it. So what we're gonna need is we are going to need, I'm trying to remember exactly where it's under. Devices, controls, and then we're gonna need a flight control unit. We're gonna just use the basic one. This here controls your thrusters. and is the necessary building block. You want to make sure that its arrows are facing the front of your ship. So you see those arrows there? You want those arrows to always be facing the front of your ship. So we're going to need one of those. We're going to need the main flight computer, right? And we're going to need the pilot chair. But that's not all we need for the pilot chair. We're also going to need the pilot chair stand. Alright, so we're gonna kind of like angle ourselves, and we're gonna kind of snap it onto there. And then we're going to take the pilot control table. And oh, I didn't snap that right at all. Oh, I'll have to fix that. So this has to snap on the bottom, never below. It's gonna snap right up underneath it. Alright, I'm gonna grab this move tool. We'll select this. We're gonna snap it on there. Select that. Bolt it all up. Looks good. If you want to, you can take the pilot chair sides and you can put them on the. They're little armrests for your endo. You can put them on there if you want to. I think it's kind of neat. Shoom. And then auto bolt, and there we go. So now we're going to take this whole thing as it is. Alright, we're going to rotate it a little bit. Want it standing straight up now. Oh no. We want this one. Just flip it around. Set it straight. We're going to move it, and we're going to put it on the front of the ship here. Now you want to line it up so that way I got really lucky and it snapped right to the perfect spot. But these indents here are the bolting areas. So you want to make sure that you have that there to bolt with. So then you take your auto bolt tool, bolt it all down. Now it's part of the ship. And occasionally, if you want, you can come and check your durability. So we're still at ship class 1.09, so the ship is still flyable. All right, but we can't actually fly it yet because we don't have the flight computer and the thruster control on there yet. So we're going to now take this, and we're going to put it right there. And we're going to take this. We're going to put it right next to it, just like that. Alright, and then what we're going to do is we're going to highlight, auto bolt. Auto bolt is not going to be friendly to us right now. So what we got to do, since we can't auto bolt, is manual bolt. Boom, 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 and boom. Alright, so now that's fully connected. So now we get to do some of the fun stuff. I forgot that I added this thruster. Allow me to pipe that up real quick. So, or not pipe. We're gonna pipe it, but I'm gonna make sure it's fastened. See, it's always good to keep looking around your ship. All right. So now that's done. All right. Now we get to start with the pipe and cable tool. So the pipe and cable tool, you can see on the right, we can choose between cable and pipe. We're going to start with cable first. Everything's got to come from the chair first. So we're going to come from the chair, and you can kind of lay it just like this along the beams. Okay. And then you can bring it like this. If you don't like the look that you're seeing here, you can click the tool, and that'll turn that off, and then you'll get a clearer view. That red square that you see at the end there means that it's not connected to anything. So if and on the there's another on the pipe tool, that box is yellow. So we're gonna give power, right, to each of these, and then we're gonna kind of run up the side of the ship, and we're gonna run just like this. Then we're gonna give that power. We're gonna give that power. So now you can see that it's green because it's nice and connected. All right, and then we can run from here along the edge like so. Now, if you want to save on wiring, so I was talking to you about ducts earlier. So if you want to, you can search. I like to use the search feature sometimes. Just hit duct, right? And it'll tell you. So we got a duct straight, right? Looks like this. Okay, and you got long ducts. So what a duct does is that it allows you to connect piping and wires, cables through without like them having to actually touch each other. So if I were to take this and snap it into there, right? So now we put the duct on the inside just like that, and then we go back to our tool here and we run this from here to here, and then we stop right there, and then we run from here onwards. You'll notice that we don't get, like, these stay connected and we don't get an error. So if I take the select tool, we don't get a red box because it's connected through the duct. So it allows you to save on pipe room and cabling room and stuff like that. So we're gonna go through here and we're gonna cable that one. Now, and then we're gonna cable that. And we're just gonna keep coming. Right? Right on down. Okay, we're gonna keep running just like this, and you know, kind of try to make it not janky if you can. So what I can do, as you can see, we've got the pipe and we've got the power socket. We want to run, you know, a little bit of wiring up our generator on the side that we're not ever gonna see, then that's totally fine. We can do that. And so we just make sure oh, boom, we got it. We got the power to the generator. You know, no one's gonna look that hard at that unless you make a generator room or you're making a much more massive ship, you know, than you normally would. And then we're gonna power that. We want to look a little cleaner than that. We're gonna power that. Bring it up. And so you just go through, and everything that requires a connection, we're gonna give it a connection. Right? So now we've got, those are connected, those are connected, those are connected, those are connected. All right, and then now we've got to come and bring power from here. And then we've got to power the propellant tanks. Very important. Now the propellant tanks require pipe and cable. They require both electricity and cable to run. And so what we're gonna do here, for sake of simplicity, is complete a circuit. So like it's all attached to the main wire. It looks super nice. It looks really nice and clean, right? We went that way. And since we already went that way, alright, what we want to do is we want to come over here and cover this way. So we're going to go like this into here, and then 1, 2, and then pipe to here, and then we're gonna keep on going. Right, we got those connected. And if you want to, you know, you can run from both ends and keep both of those connected like so. Alright, then what you want to do now is we've got those connected, we've got those connected, those connected, those connected. Now we're going to run from here onward. Now you can run from here back down and out, and then into the flight computer, and you can kind of keep it going. And we can kind of just like attach it right back to the main circuit. So now that's connected. All of this is connected up. We got the main flight computer and everything all connected up. Now we're gonna bring some pipe back this way, or some cable. I don't know why I keep calling it pipe. I guess it's a joke about laying pipe, huh? So then we're gonna come this way. We're gonna come this way. Because now we want to power our radiator. Alright, so now the radiator is powered. Alright, I believe the radiator requires only power. Alright, so now we've got the radiator powered, we've got all the hard points powered, we've wired everything up with the wire tool. Now we need to run the pipe tool. So, the pipe tool is primarily going to come from the... So we're going to run pipe, right? And this time we need to run some pipe from here to about here to about here, and kind of climb it up the side here a little bit, because we have to have that piped in to the radiator, so that way, or the generator, sorry, so that way it can provide coolant. So then, now that we have that established, alright, we're going to take piping from here, go start it there. We're gonna put it just like this. Alright, and we're gonna come. Actually, what we can do is run pipe from here to here, and run pipe from here to here to here. So now the piping is running from both of the propellant tanks, right? And so now, what the? I didn't think about where I was doing it, but that's fine. So we're gonna put something like that. No, stop. There we go. And we'll put. I'll put a little bit of, we're gonna make sure that they get their own. You can put them in the same place, I believe, but I don't see why you would do that. Also, something else when you're trying to run piping, so if you want to hide machinery, you hit hide machinery and it'll leave just the beams. You can do the same thing with the beams and stuff like that if you want to as well. You can hide the beams by opening up the beams folder and things like that, so you can just kind of get a better look at exactly what it is you're doing. So we've got those piped, and now we're gonna come from here to here to here, and then I'm gonna look down some. To here, here, and to here, and then from here to here. So as you can see, you literally, like, it's literally everything you have to think of, down to the pipes and wires, literally. And we'll go over how to check and make sure you've done it all correctly right around the end. So now we've got that. We're gonna run up. Then I'm gonna angle myself a little differently here. We're gonna put it up here, and then we're gonna put up here just like we did with the blue wire, and then we're gonna pipe from there to there, and from there to there. So now, looking a lot different. And then we'll pipe along the top here. Okay. And then that's gonna have some there and there. We're gonna go from here to here, and then from here. Oops. We got that piped up. Alright, we're gonna run here to here, run all the way across this way. 1, 2. Alright, so we got that connected. We've got the network of pipes going through those two, right? So then we're going to keep running the pipes. Just like before. And then see here, we can run that pipe, right? And we can cancel. And we can pick it up from here. And then run it back into the main connection. Just like that. Alright, and I think that we have hit everything successfully. However, Control Z. We are going to make sure there we go. It's all piped up, connected to the main. All right, so everything is piped up. and everything is wired. So now what that should mean is that we can fly this thing. So if we hit F5, it'll put us into flight mode. Alright, this is where you can test flight everything. So you can see that all the piped up stuff is connected, all the wired stuff is connected. Alright, so if you want to check, you know, you come over here, get the flight seat. Oh, and we're not moving. So that means that there's something wrong. And what that is that the thrusters don't get, I think the thrusters don't get names. Because they're, yeah, just thruster state. If you see all of this blue information here, when you hit U on it, then that means that what you're looking at is connected to everything. So this, for example, right here, this isn't connected somehow, right? So that's not properly connected. That's not properly connected. And that's not properly connected. So for some reason or another, this thruster here, or was it the bottom one? I don't remember. Oh wait, none of them are. They were connected. Now they're not. See, these are troubles that you may run into, and you will have to troubleshoot what they are. I'm surprised that one was connected considering they don't have any field names. So anyways, we'll hit F5. We'll go up to here to thruster field name tool, and then keep it on manual and hit name all device fields. You can even click it a couple times if you want to make sure. And then hit F5 again. Should bring you back. Come over here and then maybe look at it, and maybe now, oh yeah, we got that. That's connected. And then we look at this, boom, that's connected. You can tell by all the blue symbols that you have. So come look at that. Oh wait, I wasn't looking at the right thing. So please let this be connected. Yes, that is connected, and that is connected. So now, for all intents and purposes, this ship should be flyable. So we're gonna come over here, we're gonna hop in. Ah, you know what? Because of the way that I have it set up for my controls, it probably won't fly that way. So what we're gonna do is we are going to get, we're gonna unhide the machinery. Is the main flight computer connected to everything? Well, here, let's make sure. Bring the cable tool. Alright, and we will run from here. We'll run a separate wire just cause. Alright, so we just want to make sure that there's that. Then what we need to do next is let's check the durability of it. Let's see, can it fly? Yeah, so it's still 1.09. So it can definitely still fly. It's getting all the connections and stuff that it needs, but we need controls for it. So we get devices, controls. All right, and we're gonna need a lever, which this is just a. I'm gonna set these on the control board here, but like this is just a straight forward lever that is used for your forward thrust. You can put them on. You can put them on here to control the ship. So now you'll see that name is called lever state. All right, and what we need to do about that is if you click on the lever, you'll see that that's called lever state. And if you click on this, you'll see it's this one here. Here we go. You click on the flight control unit, and then you've got FCU forward, backward, rotational pitch, rotational yaw, rotational roll. All right, so this is going to be renamed to FCU forward. So FCU forward. Right, that's that lever right there. Then we're going to need some middle levers. Okay, these are the levers that go. They do need to be wired if you place them anywhere but on this control board. Keep that in mind. I'm gonna wire them just in case for the sake of this video working correctly. So we're gonna need 3 though for this. 2, 3. And the reason we need 3 of those is because we need the pitch, yaw, and roll. So we come over here to confirm the names. FCU rotational pitch, FCU rotational yaw, and FCU rotational roll. All right. FCU rotational roll. FCU rotational pitch. And then on the other one, FCU rotational yaw. So that's yaw, pitch, and roll, and forward. All right, so we've got those named, and those are named exactly as this identifies them. Now I'm going to take the cable tool. I am going to run them from the main line. So we're going to bring some this way. We'll come around like this. Just in case it decides it doesn't want to work, you know. Just like that, right? Now we should be good to fly. But we're not. So now we need to figure out why it's not working. So we've got the computer, the main flight computer. We've got it cabled in. And you know what? I'm even going to double cable it just to make sure. We've got all the other stuff cabled up. Everything's cabled. We've got the fuel to run it. We've got that cabled. We've got that piped. And that's just structural integrity. It very well could be because I used the duct inappropriately. So let's test that real quick. Let's take some cable. We'll move it onto here a little more. We're gonna run it all the way across. Because it may be that I did that part wrong. And if that's the case, it's easy just to do that. Now let's see what happens. Even though I was getting readings, I feel like maybe that was a problem. Alright, so that's not working either. So the last thing is typically it should be able to fly, but I've noticed a couple times that we need batteries. So machinery, power. And then we should have small rechargeable battery. Alright, and we're gonna use like 4 of them. We're gonna bring them over here somewhere where they're close. You know what, 3 will be fine. Oh. Okay, now I need to auto bolt them again. Okay. Now they're auto bolted. We're gonna check. Now it's not firmly connected, so we'll add a bolt to help it be connected. There we go. 1.09. Now it could also be an issue with the hard point. This is why I'm glad that this is why I'm doing this video, so you guys can see, you know, the ways that you can troubleshoot what could be wrong. So I still have no forward thrust. We have no directional change. Show detached parts. So we have parts of the ship that aren't attached. So how do we fix that? With the auto bolt tool. That's fine. I'll manually bolt it. That's another thing you can do. Show detached parts. It's very useful. Alright, everything's got its converters in it. They're all lined up and attached appropriately to the hard points. We've got the propellant necessary to run them. And then we need to hook up the batteries. I didn't. So we're gonna come from the cable. We're gonna run it through, and then battery it up. Now let's try it. And there you have it. We have a flyable ship. It spins hella fast. Alright, and we have the flyable ship. So we added the batteries. Always make sure that you've got batteries on your ship so that way they can run appropriately I don't think you're supposed to absolutely have to need batteries, but it seems like you definitely do. These can be put on platings, so like plates, basic plates, like one like this. You can, and then I would, like, if I was you, I would disable snapping, so that way you could get it set appropriately. But like, you could set them there, and then you could move the levers on there and bolt them down and stuff like that. You can also design the outside of your ship however you want, using some of the decals, which are like numbers. You've got numbers and letters that you can use. Letter C decal tool, and then like you go up here, and then like you can actually put the letter there, stuff like that. You can also use special plates. The other thing, you can use windows, so you can make windows. You've got furnishings, which right now consists of chairs and a seat and a backrest. Decorative plates, these are for like making the corners of your ship look different, so it's like not just the box, the boxy frame. So like like that, and place them just like that, and you can just make your ship look entirely unique, all on your own. Don't let me muddle your creativity. There are tons of things that you can do, but that is essentially the gist of how you do that. Now, I had some people mentioning the triangle thruster issues that they've been having. So if you go to hard points, you're gonna want your device hard point, right? I didn't put a thing up here, so you know what, that's perfect. I don't have to do that now. So machinery, thrusters. All right, and then you've got your triangle thruster. So triangle thruster combustion chamber, we need one of those. Tier 1 base, which we can just do that with, and then the tier 1 nozzle, which goes on the other side like so. All right, now you can see that it still has the shape of the hard point on it. All right, we also need the thruster propellant right here. That's still got to be put in. We also need the electricity, tier 1. We got that, right? Select that stuff. We'll auto bolt it up. All right, now we've got the triangle thruster base, right, which is the outer shell. We've got the combustion chamber, and we've got the nozzle. Now with the thrusters, you gotta have a hard point corner. I was wrong. Hold on, which one was it? I had it. That's the hard point support frame. All right, so what I'm gonna do, we're gonna test this, since I went ahead and cabled and piped that anyway, right? So you take this, all right, we're gonna take it, we're gonna rotate the hard point so it's facing down. All right, and we take the triangle thruster, and if you look at it, you can see that it's like Oh, where's it at? There we go. So you see the hard point there, right? You got to make sure that it's connected to a place where that it's piped and wired to a spot that the thruster can use. So I'm gonna highlight here. We're gonna hit the auto bolt tool. Oops, auto bolt tool. Right. Check the durability of the ship. Make sure it's at least connected. Still flyable. Totally is. That's good. All right. And so my theory, if I'm correct, I haven't really messed with the triangle thrusters very much. So if I am incorrect, you will have to pardon me. But I'm pretty sure that you just have to make sure that it's hooked up to a point where where the pipes actually meet for the hard point. So let's hit F5. Let's take her out. Oh, whoops. I'm so keeping that on there. Oh, we're gonna forget that I put these on here. We're gonna delete those. Then we're gonna test it. I noticed a couple of you had asked a question about how the triangle thrusters work when using them. So as you see here, I have assembled a triangle thruster like a normal thruster, just a regular old triangle thruster. And I'm going to select it like this, and I'm going to kind of pull it off. So you can see I put the power supply, the unit, the electricity converter, and the propellant converter into its color-coded slots on the side. And if you look at the bottom, the hard point looks a little different. It still goes on to a device hard point. What I suggest if you are having issues is that you put it on in a fashion to where when you pipe and cable it, that it's on a spot where the hard point is easily visible. See there? So don't put it on this corner edge, you know, put it here, here, or here. You get the three to form the triangle, and the fourth corner will not supply it with enough power that I'm aware of. If you're having trouble, give that a try. Thank you guys for coming to watch this video. I hope you enjoy the drawn out tutorial that I give. It's very explanatory. I've had to cut out a bunch again because I did have some errors that I was running into during the phase of making this video. So I thank you guys as always so much for watching, and if you have any more further suggestions or things that you need explained in more detail, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will be sure to address them as promptly as possible. I try to respond to every single one of you. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I appreciate each and every single one of you. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the very next video.